Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thanks everybody for joining. We'll start with just some preliminary information and jump right into the main presentation. We're going to be talking about a front desk check-in system for SharePoint today, and this is utilizing Infowise Ultimate Forms. This is the software available for all versions of SharePoint. My name is Will Cooper. I am a SharePoint solutions developer. I do anything and everything related to SharePoint. And I even have a YouTube channel. I hope you guys check that out. My YouTube channel is called SharePoint Smart. I post learning videos and all kinds of interesting SharePoint information on there. I think there's almost 300 videos on my site, so I hope you'll take a look. Outside of my work with Infowise, I also run a tool called SharePoint Dashboards. That is something I'll talk about at the very end of the presentation if you decide to stick around. Tell you a little bit about Infowise. Our philosophy is to make things simple, easy for you guys to access, and we're all about making improvements. So we're all the time adding new features to our tools. Ultimate Forms is a solution toolkit that you can add to any version of SharePoint. It runs completely inside of your SharePoint interface, and you will have to do no code. No programming is involved at all, which is really important. I am recording the presentation, and this will be posted out on YouTube later today, so you can play that back, so don't feel like you have to scramble to take notes. If you guys have questions during the presentation, I definitely want to hear them, but you're going to need to put them in through the Q&A option in the Teams webinar. Please be patient if I don't get your question right away, but that's the way you can ask me questions. So I mentioned Ultimate Forms is available both for SharePoint Online and for on-premise SharePoint. So no matter what version of SharePoint you use, you can gain access to these tools. So out of the box, SharePoint is a little bit plain. It is lacking things that you're going to want to be able to do. So you certainly can't do anything like we're going to show in today's presentation in terms of having check-in system without some extra tools available. That's what Ultimate Forms is all about. It adds tools to your SharePoint environment that allows you to do custom forms and custom solutions, including email notifications, and be able to build that all yourself without having to do code. So we're going to be talking about a front desk check-in system today. Before we get into that, let's talk about some key concepts that are going to be important for any kind of a front desk check-in system. We want it to be super easy for our users to get checked in, and so we need just to have something they can scan with their phone. Scan the QR code, boom, the form's right there, and everybody can get checked in easily. We want that form to be super easy for them to do. No explanation necessary, just quite obvious. You can see that in the screenshot here, and we're going to get to try that out in a little bit. We need a main dashboard for everybody to be able to see from administration standpoint. This would be for your person at the front desk, or if you need to check on who's been coming and going to your facility. We want the ability to be able to do a visitor badge. So if you'd like to give them a sticker, they can slap on the front desk. We want to have that possibility as well. We want to obviously have an email notification. When I go to visit somebody's facility, we want them to get an email right when I check in. That way they know to come up to that front desk and collect their visitor. Okay, and then also we want to check out. Not only do we want to know when people come on site, we'd like to know when they're leaving out the door too. And that just keeps up better with the activities, and we can do reporting off of that. So that should be part of what we do. The checkout form, just like the check-in form, should be real easy. This is an example. It shows it's just one field. Pick your email address. And then naturally we want to be able to do some reporting on this later, maybe for audit purposes or something like that. So these are the main features that should be included in a modern front desk check-in system. All right, so that's enough of my slide deck. Let's jump right to SharePoint. Here we are in SharePoint Online. Let me just get ready to go here. And today we're going to have fun because when I come to it, everybody's going to get to try this for themselves, which is going to be really cool. Normally we can't do this in a webinar, but you will today. So let's just start with what we've got here. This is a SharePoint Online site, and it only needs a few lists. And this will be all available to you for free to download later today. This is a free template included as part of our software. So if you download our trial software for Infowise Ultimate Forms, this will be included in our solutions catalog, and you can download it and try it out for yourself. So we got three main lists. One's the visitors list. This is the main form that's filled out when our visitors come on site. We're going to have a visiting directory. This allows us to have a lookup drop-down field so our visitors can select the person that they're coming to visit. So naturally, you're going to customize this according to your own organization. And then additional to that, we do want to have an ability for our visitors to check out. So the idea here is that our visitors are going to just be able to see a printed sheet at our front desk, and they can go ahead and check in and do that with their phone. And in fact, we're all going to do that. So you may have been thinking you're just going to sit back and watch today, but guess what? You're going to get to participate. So I'm going to give you a QR code. All of you guys can scan it, and you can check in at our front desk right now. Let me get that pulled up for you. There it is. Okay, so just go ahead and fill in the form and submit, and we can all participate this. And this will show you exactly what it would be like for a visitor coming to your facility. So all you need to do is just hold up your phone to the screen, scan that QR code, go to the URL that comes up. It'll pull up our public-facing form, and you can just start filling stuff in. I'm going to go ahead and fill out another one for myself. You can put in some fictional data if you want. It doesn't matter to me. If you want to see the email notification, then go ahead and use your email, or you can use a dummy one. Either one's fine. So I'm filling it out on my phone, and you can do the same on your phone right now. And we should see a bunch of entries start to come in here. For the person you're visiting, defaults to my name for our presentation. You can just go ahead and use that. And then on there, also you should see a picture field. That's optional. You don't have to do the picture. And then once you got all of that, you can just do check in. And tap that green button in the bottom, and we should start to see people getting checked in. You can see some of the check-ins I've already done. Look at that. We already got lots of check-ins. Okay, a lot of people skip the picture. That's fun. So pretty cool. You can see it can handle a lot of people all at one time. Very simple to understand concept. We got Bugs Bunny here, and that's fine. That's totally what I expected. Dwight Schrute from The Office. I like some of these creative names. And so that's going to automatically send out these email notifications. It's really simple. The person they're visiting is going to get the email. We saw that from my PowerPoint deck. And you can see we've got some tracking. So in the created column, I can see exactly how many seconds or minutes or hours ago that was. So it's easy to know. And we've got a status. They're checked in. Could be more easy for that user. Everybody was able to do those really fast. And then we can see this log. So the person at your front desk can review that. They can ensure the person actually did the check-in. So if you want to make sure they did it, and then you can access those forms as well. I can go back into it if I want to look at one of my check-ins. And the cool thing about this is, notice there's no SharePoint involved for them. They just are able to log in without having to do that. So even though we're doing all our tracking and everything in SharePoint, that's simple. Now, what about that visitor badge? Okay, so now you want to print off a sticker for them so they can slap that on before they go in the facility. We have custom print capabilities inside of our software. So the person at the front desk can put a check next to their name, click print, and by default, it'll go ahead and do a visitor badge for them. Here's one for me, Infowise Solution Visitor, Will Cooper. Naturally, you can customize this. It's got that date time stamp when they came to the front desk. Really easy to understand. Now, at the very end of this, when they're getting ready to leave, it'd be nice to track that they checked out too. So how are we going to do that? It's just the inverse of them checking in, but it's actually going to even be simpler. So that's the check-in. Sorry. Let me find my checkout form. Same idea. You can put this on the exit door and they can check out. Now you don't need to do the checkout side of it, but I'll just show what it looks like. Essentially, it's just a single field form. And this is a lookup, and it'll just show the emails of people that are at the facility right now, because we want to maintain some privacy, right? So I don't want it to have emails of a whole bunch of other people. This is set to show just a filtered lookup of any visitors that have a status of checked in. And then once they do get checked out, it's going to change that to checked out, and it's going to actually do a date timestamp when they checked out. So not only do we have a nice log of when people are coming, we've also got a log of when they're going to. All right, so let's talk a little bit about how this is put together. And by the way, I just want to reiterate, if you guys have questions, we do want to hear those. Go ahead and put them in the Q&A tool in the webinar. You can just go in there and just type your message. I'll get to it as soon as I can. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how this works. So as I mentioned, you can download our software from the Infowise site today. And this is going to show up in our solutions catalog. It'll be easy to find. It's going to show up under webinars, and it's going to be the very first tile up here. And as soon as I've uploaded that, when we're done with our presentation, you can brand your checkout form and make it look however you want. So you can download the template, and if you want to do a different color scheme, maybe you want to update your organization logo, that's really easy to do that. You can just come into these sections. I can change this message to whatever I want. I can even upload an image if I wanted to. I've got lots of options. It's, real easy to work with. Let me just show you an example of what I could do. There's the Infowise logo. You get the idea, or I could load in some other kind of image. Very easy to customize, easy to work with. It's a drag and drop style interface. I can drag fields out in the form. It's up to you whether you want to use the picture. You may or may not want to use the picture. It's just up to your preference. You can make it required. You can make it not required. It's just an example of what's possible for you to do. In our software, we have the ability to allow you to do external forms. You can do all kinds of SharePoint forms with our software. This is just featuring a particular capability where you can turn that on and then make that available for your users. Now, tied to that, we have our email notification. So I can go into our alerts rules, and you can see I've got our check-in notification. And this is what goes ahead and lets the person know who's being visited, hey, you've got your person at the front desk, and they know to come up there and go see them. Very easy to set up, easy to understand. It's just triggered when an item is added. And then I can make the email content look however I want. So I just included fields from the form. I could include their organization, other stuff like that too. That's just entirely up to you. So you can modify that however you like. Then also we've got the print template functionality. I mentioned to you that you may like to print out a visitor badge. So I made a print template for that. It's easy to customize. In fact, you can just do that in Microsoft Word. So you don't have to learn any code or anything like that. I just clicked on that, and let me show you what that looks like in Microsoft Word. So basically what you do is you reference your fields using square brackets. So I put all my static information in there. I just kind of made a simple little table in Microsoft Word. This will automatically pull in all that information, so you can just print that off. So you can also make that look however you want. You might like to put your organization logo there as well. Easy to work with. The other thing was reporting. I may like to have a summary report, like I say, for audit purposes. Maybe we need to have a monthly report or that type of thing. I also defined that in the print template. It was really easy to do. I just said to use this report view and use all the columns defined in the view. And I can put a header on there and make it look however I want. So let's see. I'll make that bold and centered. And I just save out of here. Let's make it a little bit bigger. There we go. And now when I come back out to the visitors list and go to that report view, I can just click on print, and it's going to come up with that report view for me, and I can now put that to PDF. So all this stuff is just real simple to work with, easy to understand. So again, this could be good just for auditing purposes. I can see a full log of everybody who's come to visit. So really great aspect of this is just the fact that it's so easily customizable. It's a very simple system. Obviously, this is going to be a vast improvement over a clipboard at the front desk. Then also another key benefit is that it's going to avoid something that people may assume that you have to have, which is that you have to have a kiosk at your front desk. Now you can do that, and that would work fine with the system. But one beautiful thing about this, these days everybody's got their smartphone in their pocket, so it's a reasonable expectation they're going to have that. And so we don't actually have to have a device. You don't have to put a tablet on your front desk. You don't have to put a computer at the front in order to have this visitor check-in system. All that you really have to do is have a sign at your front desk that just tells people this: hey, welcome, scan here to check in. That's it. If you need to, you could include a URL, but that QR code functionality is pretty reliable. Okay, let me pause for a second. I've got code in here, or somebody made a couple questions. I want to comment on that. Yeah, it was about just what I was talking about. So Hayden asked me, if we don't want to rely on them scanning the QR code, can we host it on a kiosk? Yeah, of course you can. You could put this form right in front of them. In fact, it doesn't even have to be in SharePoint. It could just be using that public URL, and it could sit there and they can check in that way. No problem. You can have both going. There's a question, can we connect a scanner to scan driving licenses? That would take a little customizing. You could do that. In general, what you're talking about would be something where, you have to integrate that into the form. So I think that could be a possibility. That's not part of this particular solution, but this could be modified to try to include something like that. There's a question about, said we don't use SharePoint. If you do have Microsoft 365, then you have access to SharePoint. So even if you guys aren't taking advantage of that, that would be the way to go. But this is a form system with software that goes with SharePoint. But again, even if you don't use SharePoint, if your organization has Microsoft 365 licenses, you're good. All right, I'm just scanning for more questions and feedback. I appreciate those. I do want to just reiterate that this solution, you can just try it out for yourself. So that's the cool thing about it. You don't just have to take my word for it. If you just go to our Infowise site, I'll show you how to do that. You can just download our software and deploy the solution out for free in our trial software, and you can see exactly what it does. Can you send a notification to a Teams account? Yes, that's definitely possible. It's one extra workflow step. If you want it to go to a Teams message, that's absolutely possible. That comes from Ran. If you want to send a message to us after you get the solution, after you get the template set up, I can tell you exactly how to do it. That's a really great idea. I like that. I know I'm on Teams chat all the time. I'd love to see a notification come there. This question, can you have it auto print the badge? It's pretty easy to do. It is automatic from the standpoint, the person who checked in is going to be the first record on the list. So the person at the front desk, they literally just need to check that item, click print, and then click print one more time for the PDF, and you're done. So I think you'll find that that's pretty simple. As far as automating it further beyond that, I'm sure there could be some possibilities, but generally that's how it would work. Oh, there's a question about I added my picture, didn't show up. I'm not sure about that, Brian. But if you download the solution, it should work. You can see, I did have it going for all those pictures. So I'm not sure what happened when you're in there, but I can promise you the camera should work. Part of it is, sorry, I was thinking of something else. That should work fine. Will the photo print on the label? Melissa, that's up to you. It's really up to your preference. If you want the picture to appear on the label, you could include that as part of the print template. It's really just according to whatever your preference. So you're going to be able to modify that in our print templates functionality, and you can make that look however you want. There's another question about badge printers. There are dedicated devices that do those type of printers. I don't have any particular advice on that. I mean, that'd be up to you to get your printer, but I can tell you that this solution would be compatible with that. It can format the output so that it's going to fit on that. Good questions. A lot of interesting questions about it. My general take on it would be the first thing to do would be to just go ahead and try out the solution. So you can go ahead and download this and start trying to use it. And then the good thing is you're not locked into a box, right? So let's say that I went out and tried to buy some dedicated software for this purpose. You're really locked into however that works, whereas this is completely customizable. You can set it up and modify it to meet whatever your requirements might be. So this is part of a full forms solution, and we have loads and loads of different templates. So if I go into the solution templates, I'll just show you that real quick. So this is just one of actually hundreds of different things you can do. So if I go into the forms tools and go to solution catalog, you'll see that in fact we have hundreds of solutions you can download here. So this is just one of those ones that are available. And then once you've downloaded it, you can modify it to add or remove fields or change the look and feel to whatever you want. So there's a lot of different options available. As far as getting this, what you want to do is go to the InfowiseSolutions.com site, and you want to click on Try Now for free. Our entire software is free to download and try for 30 days. There's no limits on it all. All the functionality is there. All the templates are there. You can try all of that. What I'm showing to you is in the SharePoint Online version. You do need to get your global admin to help you do the installation of that, just so they have the rights to install the trial software. Once you've done that, you can download our trial solution. And you can learn all about Ultimate Forms on our site. We have lots of great information that will help you get started. We have a Kickstart training you can do to learn how to use our form builder and use these tools for the first time. And then beyond that, we've got tutorials and other information. If you're curious about how the pricing works, that's listed on our site too under the pricing. Generally speaking, it's just based on the quantity of users. One good thing about this solution is there's no cost based on the number of visitors. They don't count as users in the solution, which is kind of nice. You could have hundreds and hundreds of different visitors come to your facility. Has absolutely no impact on the cost. You just have to pay for user licenses of people in your organization that would use this solution. So that's a really cool aspect of that. You might check out other things related to this. We've got all kinds of public forms-based solutions. You can use public forms for contact forms. You can use it for job applications. We've done presentations on job application system, customer support, you name it. There's all kinds of options there, and that's just an additional extra feature that comes with our software. This is really cool because otherwise with SharePoint, there is nothing public facing. You could not use it for any public forms at all. So it's a nice additional extra benefit. That's most of what I wanted to show you guys on our check-in system. Again, this will be available today for you guys to check out, and you can practice with it. You can upload your own practice information. You'll have your own QR code that you can scan to your phone, and that's pretty much it. It's easy to work with, and let's see. I'll take any more questions from you guys. There's a question of whether data can be stored in SQL Server. So the way that would work is you'd set up an export using our software. So if I go to visitors, we do have import-export capabilities. So your best bet to be able to handle that would be to go and set up a profile for that. That's under the import and export options. And then you can connect using a SQL connection to your server, and you could have it automatically send the data over there. Good question from Joseph. Okay, there's a question about the user licenses. Let's see. Just reading the whole question. Yeah, you can have it trigger emails outside of your organization. That's not a limitation at all. So naturally, it's going to email your users based on who's being visited, but it can also email to the people outside the organization. There's no restriction as far as being able to send emails. Good question from Hayden. Thank you very much. There's a question about what happens when the visitor is picked up by the employee. Does the employee need to do anything? You could modify the form to do that. That would be really simple. Generally, the answer is no, Once they've checked in at the front desk, they'll get their badge and they're good to go. So we know they're at the facility. If you want to add that extra check-in step, you could certainly incorporate that. You could have the employee do something on their phone, or you could even have them reply to the check-in email, and you could build an action for that to update that to incorporate that in the process. So it's a very customizable solution. It's a template on the site now. Annie, it will be it will be in less than an hour because I'm going to go in there and apply this as a template, and you'll be able to find it in our solution catalog. You'll be able to go to that by going to solution catalog, click on webinars. It'll be the very first tile up here under Infowise webinars. Good question. I hope you do try it out. Awesome. Really good participation in the discussion today. Let me go back out. Now, part of what's included in there are some there's some formatting related to like the picture and the created and things like that. And in fact, that comes from templates at the SharePoint dashboard site. I did mention at the beginning, I was going to talk a little bit about that. This is an additional tool. If you want to do reporting, charting, KPI indicators, you want to have visual dashboards inside of SharePoint, this is another tool that you can try out for free. You can find that at SharePointDashboards.com. And if you click on the Get Started, you can browse through different templates that are available. There's all kinds of different things you could do. In this case, we have a formatting on the date time, and you can find previews of those by just browsing around the site. You can sign up just with an email address to this site to gain unlimited access to 21 templates. If you do sign up for a subscription to this tool, it does include a full 237 different dashboard templates. So this is something you could look at additional to what you do with your check-in system, and you can use it in addition to Infowise Ultimate Forms. It's a very inexpensive tool. It's a monthly subscription. You only need user licenses for the people who are applying templates. So just another option for you to check out additional to Ultimate Forms. Let's see, I've got another comment. There's another question about APIs with the badge access system. That's certainly possible, Joe. Really, it's something you're going to have to explore and investigate after you've downloaded the solution. So if you want to work with that, you certainly can set up a workflow to connect using an API. So absolutely, that's possible. That's just going to involve some extra configuration. Good question. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and stop our recording of our presentation, but I am going to keep our webinar going in case there's additional questions that pop up.